the time is here. This is Radio Voice of Naija. Okay, here we go. When you know the debate about euthanasia, the right to choose to die, has not yet lost its controversial tone, especially in relation to issues of faith and ethics. This act is also called mercy killing. Although in 2002, the euthanasia became legal in the Netherlands for those who desire to die in this fashion, not everyone is totally comfortable with the idea. Our guest today is Mr. Robert NPVE, that is an association which wholly supports this cause. We will be examining the medical, the ethical, and the moral aspects of this topic. Oh, you listen to P Square, the Naija, hip hop artist. I don't know what he's thinking, but the radio seems nice. Anyway, I would like to say welcome, Mr. Chori. Good morning. Okay.
Welcome, Chori. Especially just euthanasia week. What is that supposed to mean? Can you explain it to our listeners?
Right. If you take into account the first two, people on their request
Okay, so is it only in Holland that this is being practiced?
Holland was the first country with a law on euthanasia and assisted dying. And it was in 2002, and now it is also in Belgium and Luxembourg and 5 states of the United States and recently in Canada.
So you've gone to almost 5 countries now?
Yes, more or less, but there's a broad support we see among people in those countries to have laws about it, but it's difficult to get laws because doctors sometimes are opposed to it, religious groups sometimes are opposed to it, so it takes time for a country to have a law into effect. So in Holland, the law came into effect when the Christian Democratic parties were not in the government. So there was, I think that was helpful to get a law in Holland about this issue.
So you celebrated Euthanasia Week?
Now celebrate is maybe the wrong word.
Okay.
The subject euthanasia we put into publicity and say, well, we want to discuss about it and want to show.
Okay, it was week of euthanasia.
We do euthanasia now, and we put attention to the issue.
Oh, okay.
That's why we do it.
Okay. So the whole week was just discussing on this and bringing it to focus so that people can know what it is.
Yes, this is right.
What was the intention of that?
Well, because we think it's broadly supported in the Netherlands, but there's still a lot of people who don't know exactly how the law works. Even among our members, we have 165,000 members. We have monthly sessions, and a lot of people still have a lot of questions about how does the law work and how can I profit from it when I want to die myself. So that's where we put a lot of information is needed still after 15 years of law in Holland to inform the public about the effects of the law.
Yeah, I was wondering how the law works. If you say some of your members are still unclear about this, they say, can you, in a very, in a nutshell, tell us how the law works?
Yeah.
The law works.
Suppose you're a patient with a severe illness, terminal cancer, and you have reached the point where you say,
a patient.
Yeah, the patient.
Yeah, person. Yeah, patient. Patient doesn't live anymore. Maybe the best example is my father. He had terminal cancer. He had a lot of pain, and in '94, 8 years before the law came into effect, he said, I don't want to live anymore. Maybe I can live for 3 weeks, any longer, but life is not giving me anymore. Help end my life. The doctor helped him, and the family gathered together, and it was a fine moment for all of us to say goodbye to him. And he said, well, it's okay. Those 3 weeks, they're not important for me anymore. I have too much pain. I want to end my life. And the law makes it possible for in Holland, for people to do this.
What's the age that one can have to be able to make this decision?
When
the person wants to end up his life.
Yeah,
from what age?
From 16 years on, you can decide yourself until you're very old.
Anyway, one of the angles we're going to approach this, and maybe I can use this to this opportunity to ask you the question. That is, on which grounds would you say that the law regarding euthanasia was put into effect? Was it in support of what is called moral relativism, which teaches that there is no absolute moral truth? What is true for you may not necessarily be true for me. People think that, that is a person's choice and a person's choice. Okay. And that there are no absolute moral truths which guide us all.
There are moral issues involved, of course, and there are moral debates also about the subject of euthanasia in every country, and we have to take that into account. But in that end, there are a lot of people who are not religious and who will see it from a humane point of view, and that is the point where the tipping point in Holland. People said, if you have cancer, why go to the end? Why cannot doctors help you to end your life when you request it yourself? And that's what the law provides.
But I'm wondering, of the 165,000 members you have, are some of them Christians?
Yes,
believers? People of faith?
Maybe the interesting thing is that it will be shown tomorrow evening on a film, but the former Prime Minister, who was a Christian Democrat himself, reveals, I am a member of the NVVE. And why is he a member? Because we also have a Do Not Resuscitate badge. So a lot of people with a religious background say, well, if I get a heart attack, it's God summoning me. So I do not want to resuscitate, and the badge we provide guarantees that you will not be resuscitated. So we also have people from a Christian background as a member because they want the badge.
So that means they don't want to come back to life.
Yeah, they want to
die.
That's right.
So, but what is surprising me here is that you read a little bit about the history of Netherlands. You see that it is a country that was formed under the platform of Christianity. Of Christianity. Christianity.
Oh, Christianity. Yeah,
yes, exactly. Right. Because that's why you had the 5 pillars of Christians who were governing Netherlands in the past.
Yes.
The 5 pillars. You have the Catholics, you have the Protestants, you have the Lutheran, or whatever. You know, you call it the 5 pillars. So how come that they can? And they know what the Bible says. They know what God says about thou shalt not kill.
Of course.
So how come?
But we say it's not killing.
What is it then?
Well, it's helping a person to die on his own request. It's another thing of killing. Killing is never on your request.
So how is this different from assisted suicide? How is euthanasia different from assisted suicide?
Well, you have the law has 2 options. One is a doctor can prescribe a medication for you, and you can take it yourself and end your life yourself. And euthanasia is, in fact, when the doctor puts the medication into an intravenous injection. So these 2 options the doctor and the patient discuss when they are discussing end-of-life issues.
Yeah. So then, does that distinguish, is one then assisted killing, assisted suicide, and the other euthanasia? Which one is which? Or they are both the same?
In fact, it's ending life. It's the request of the patient. That's why we say it's not killing.
Okay.
It's physician-assisted dying is the actual term
for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you not see it as like the same as somebody? Okay, a physician is assisting this person now to die. That's why you don't see it as killing. What about if somebody have a gun and is telling you to kill him because he wants to die, but he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to die through maybe euthanasia. He wants you to kill him. So what would you do?
Yeah, that's not what the law provides. The law provides for a doctor to help in a professional way, and the doctors perform very professional. In 2014, there were 5,306 cases in Holland. It's about 4% of the people who died in a year. They took euthanasia or assisted dying. So, and the doctor does it in a way with medication, not with a gun.
So are you saying that?
So the number is increasing.
The number is increasing every year, 10%.
Is it because of what then?
Why are people
choosing that way?
I think that people who are in severe pain of cancer, they have an option. They can live to the end, and that's okay with me if they choose for it and they want to wait until God calls them. But there are also people who say, well, I don't believe. So they should have the option, and it's possible, to say, well, I will end my life before that.
Well, viewer listeners out there, we are having 101 with the director of the NVVE, an association which wholly supports the cause of euthanasia. You may give us a call on 020-737-1619. Should you have any questions for Mr. Robert?
Sure.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so we're waiting for your calls as we proceed.
By the way, for those who do not know what euthanasia is, it is the process of choosing to die by yourself.
With the help of a doctor.
With the help of a doctor.
Yeah, and the law says, well, you have it and to do out of your own request. It has to be voluntary, and you should have a prolonged wish for ending your life. And at the same time, there's also a demand that there will be no other treatment option anymore, and that you have unsufferable bearing. So there are criteria or demands which the doctor evaluates, and if the doctor says, well, I think I can help you, he has to another doctor, scan doctor, who is a consultant on euthanasia, a specialized consultant, and the person gives him advice, and then he decides whether to help the patient.
That means that there are some people who have desire to take their own lives through a physician, but they were hindered.
Yeah, we advise.
They were stopped.
Yeah, no, it starts when the patient gets the idea, I don't want to live anymore, and he writes down in an advance directives why he doesn't want to end his life. He discusses with the doctor, and then the process comes for that.
No, my question is, if that person desires to die, and the doctors see that there is no need for the person to die, would they stop that
Yes,
desire?
when they don't meet when the patient's request doesn't meet the criteria of the law, the doctor can be punished by law when he performs the euthanasia. So then he stops and says, well, you don't meet the criteria, I can't help you. So there are a lot of patients, there are about 10% of the people who die in the Netherlands, 140,000 a year, they have a request for euthanasia, and only 4% it is granted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, why do you think it's becoming a more popular choice, let me put it that way, of dying when people have, are in pain? Is it that before it wasn't so, but why is it becoming popular?
Yes.
Are you guys doing some special promotions for people to choose for this sort of this method of ending their lives?
No, the only thing we do is give information. It's up to the people themselves whether they choose for a physician assistant dying or euthanasia themselves. We don't promote it because it's a personal choice.
Personal choice.
And we are lucky to have a law into effect that people can have this choice. There are a lot of countries where people don't have the choice, and then doctors do it sometimes, help the patient secretly. They give him morphine and they don't tell it. So it's not a very transparent situation then.
Yes.
But I believe in all
So to thresholds of pain that is unbearable, that they wish to die.
Yeah,
and that's why they choose for this sort of...
we say, in fact, that the person himself, he says, he has to give information to the doctor why it's unbearable, and the doctor has to understand why it's unbearable, and the doctor said, well, I don't have any treatment options anymore, and those two together, so okay, now we have an agreement, yes or no, whether we could perform euthanasia, and then the second doctor comes to account, and when it's performed, there's also a regional committee that looks into every case of euthanasia to see whether the demands of the law has been met. So every case is scrutinally looked into.
Yeah, maybe as a younger person, perhaps I've not fully grasped this thing. But at what point did the moral consideration of euthanasia or assisted suicide, at what point did that moral aspect of it, vanish? That it's not taken seriously, because we believe that life is sacred. Yes. Only God gives life, and only God can take life.
Yes.
And so I totally understand the issue of somebody in pain and all that, and wanting to be assisted to that. But at what point did the moral dimension really, was it put aside?
Yeah, but there are also people who say to us, well, the really religious people said, I have discussed it with God myself.
Oh, really?
And he said, it's okay.
Oh, God can't say that, because God cannot contradict himself. So I don't think it is God that they are hearing from the devil. Because God is not interested in us taking life. And at the same time, even if they have such high level of pain, does it mean that nothing else can subsidize that pain? And secondly, if it is an aged person, maybe somebody who has reached 90 years, or whatever, is saying he doesn't want to stay anymore, that could be something different. But for a boy or a girl of 16 years old,
no, that's what the minimum age is.
Yes, that means somebody can still choose. That means your people can still choose to die. That's what he's saying.
Yes, but it's not an easy choice.
It's not an easy choice.
People are very ill, and there's no option for them anymore, because we also have palliative care in Holland, and that's very good we have it. But so, when you reach the end of your life, we think you would be happy to live in Holland and to have the opportunity to choose your life with the help of a doctor. I understand it's a difficult subject for people who believe in God.
Yeah.
And they won't choose for this option. But I think it's good that a nation has also the option for people who don't believe in God.
Well, we're going to take a very short break because this is a very heavy issue. Yeah. I don't know why. I can go about wondering what is it that can bring one to violating the principles of God. And all of these people who have chosen to die this way, how would they be able to face God? Because no matter what we've done here, there is a time we're going to face our Creator.
Yeah, I can't help you with that because I don't believe in God.
Well, because you don't believe in God, probably that's why you became the director. It's easy for you to do that.
I became a doctor because of what I told you about my father, and because I'm a doctor myself. I understand why people can be in severe pain and why doctors can be helpful in that situation. But even then, in Holland, like I told you, 96% of the people who die don't make the choice for euthanasia or assisted dying. So it's not a big issue, but still, it's important that people have the choice.
Yeah. You know, we grew up with the moral aspect of it. You know, I'm sure you can understand that. Maybe as a doctor, you've seen people, you know, in that situation many times,
exactly.
and of course, you have compassion for them, and you want to see how to help. And especially when there's nothing more to do, maybe that becomes a natural option. I can understand that.
Compassion, like you said in the beginning, mercy killing, was the reason why the law came into effect.
Wow.
And now we have another trend that the baby boomers say, well, I have regulated my life and I will regulate my end of my life also. That's also, from a humane point of view, the European Charter of Rights gives them the opportunity to do that, but they still, the euthanasia law is a law for patients. You have to take that into account. You only can end your life with the help of a doctor when you are when you have a medical condition. And the people who say, well, I have seen it with my father and my mother, and I don't want to end like that. They have difficulties right now because they are healthy and they don't fit into the criteria of the euthanasia law. So that's a whole ball play we're going to have.
But let me ask you, Dr. Bashirk. So does it mean is it the doctors who do suggest this to the patients? Because I still think there are some patients who may be very ignorant about euthanasia. So at what point did they come to know, okay, there's something like, I want to take in my life. Is it the doctors who suggest it to the patient, or is it just that the patient just came up with the idea?
And the patient himself asks for euthanasia. Otherwise, the euthanasia will not be performed.
No, I know. The patient asks for euthanasia because somebody must have given him the hint.
The idea,
it's more the other way around, actually. That doctors in Holland find it difficult to perform euthanasia, a group of doctors. So they want to give palliative care as long as possible. So sometimes it's a difficult debate between the patient and the doctor. That's why we started the end-of-life clinic, because Sometimes patients say, well, my doctor won't help me. And the end-of-life clinic started 4 years ago. That's the clinic of last resort for them. So they can go to the end-of-life clinic then, if their own doctor doesn't want to help.
Is there an initiative from NVVE?
We started the end-of-life clinic
4 years ago.
And 4 years ago. And they get 1,200 requests every year, and they grant 400 of them because they meet the criteria of the euthanasia law.
Okay.
Well, there's one day on television there's a documentary about complex patients they have on Dutch television about the practice of their work.
Okay, we'll take a short break now, and then we're going to play this song, Barry White, Life. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it talks about lives anyway. So,
and please feel free to give us a call on 737-1619 should you have something to ask from Dr. Robert.
Yes, to blend with the tone of the discussion, and it does have something noisy in that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently discussing the topic of euthanasia, the ethics of choosing whether to live or die. And our guest, Dr. Robert Schurig, is in the studio. And we welcome you to interact with him and with us as we proceed. So we'll be standing by. Enjoy this music from Barry White, Life.
Okay, if I take your picture?
Okay. For the photograph, yeah. Can I get it?
No, I'm there.
Oh, you. Thank you, sir. Shall I get one on your phone?
That's okay.
Oh yeah, radiovoiceofnaija. He wants to, yes.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, if you think one of the days when you have a chance, maybe between the weekends and there's another aspect of it which will be discussed on television, then you can let us know as well. Because we didn't have your, maybe we can send our email through your social personal. You may give us a contact as well.
Okay, shall we go further? Yeah. All right, we're back here with our guest, Dr. Robert Schurig. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
Okay, thank you.
Those who are just tuning in, remember that we are talking on the ethics of choosing whether to die or not, euthanasia, with Dr. Robert Schurig, who is the director of the NVVE, an association which wholly supports this cause. So if you have something to say, please just give us a call on the studio line on 020-737-1619. However, if you miss this broadcast, you can always go on our website and you will see this segment again. So you just have to click on the health segment, and then this video or this clip is going to come up, and then you can play it all. And then if you have anything to speak with Dr. Robert Sharon, you can as well give me a call, or you can send SMS to us, and we will forward any of your queries to him. Thank you. Now, I want to ask, is euthanasia an assisted suicide granted only at the patient's request?
I think
it's not suicide. So, okay, can a physician use his discretion to do that?
Sorry?
Can a physician use his discretion to
help a patient to die?
To help a patient to die? Can a physician like you?
Okay, granted the person.
Every physician in Holland can help the patient in his request when they meet the criteria. But it's a voluntary choice for the doctor. He's not obliged to help the patient because it's a special, you could say, treatment, special procedure, which not every doctor wants to perform, out of religious question, out of moral issues. I was trained to help patients to get better, not to help them to die.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are a lot of doctors still find it very difficult every time, and it costs them a lot of emotion also. But also they say, well, it's when you are there, it's a fine moment also when people can say goodbye to their relatives and help as a doctor to help them die in dignity.
Yes, let me ask you something. So how long does it take? How long does it really take before the whole process is completed?
Well, normally it takes at least 2 weeks. It's the minimum, but normally it takes years sometimes, because when you get cancer, you have your treatments first, and when the treatments of your cancer...
When the person gets cancer, I'm not getting cancer. When the patient gets cancer?
Yeah, well, a patient with cancer, first there are treatment options, but in the end, when this went into remission and the cancer came back, etc., then slowly his condition is deteriorating, and then comes the issue, do I want to end my life earlier? And the doctor is his guide during this process, and it can take years until the patient says, well, now this my time has come, I don't want to live anymore. Will you help me now? And because the doctor and the patient discuss this issue along the way, they know whether this doctor will help the patient, yes or no. And then the procedure with the second doctor, etc., takes about 2 weeks until the date is set and you can say goodbye to your relatives. Okay,
so the process of dying, then does it start slowly, or is it just that the person is okay? Let's assume the second opinion have approved for that person to die, and then if it's approved this week, like if it's approved that the person will die today, so can it just be that the person would, and the family comes to say goodbye, and then, so from that moment, the family has said goodbye.
That's right.
How long do your euthanasia process take then to kill the person?
It depends on the procedure. When the patient swallows the medication itself, it can take mostly 1 hour, but it can be 2-3 hours. And when the doctor performs an intravenous injection, it's a matter of seconds. Within the hour, the patient has died. Mostly 10 minutes or so.
Jesus.
Now, what of cases where, let's say, a patient is unable to maybe communicate, maybe the person is in coma or something?
Yes.
What happens? Who decides what must happen?
When a doctor cannot talk to the patient anymore, normally he won't perform euthanasia anymore.
He won't?
No.
Okay, so he has to, the person is left in that state until whatever happens.
Yeah, but coma in a hospital is something different because you can have a situation where treatment is not wise anymore and won't help the condition of the patient to improve.
Yeah.
So sometimes in hospitals, and that's the normal law, it's not a euthanasia law, the normal medical law, medical treatment law.
Yeah.
A doctor is allowed in discussion with the family to stop the treatment and let's say plastic to pull the plug from the machine.
Yeah.
In some situations like that.
No, because there's an argument ostensibly from bioethics that it's cost too much to keep people supported on life support or whatever when they're not getting better, so it's economically not wise to keep spending money on them when they're not getting better. So in that case, it's better to give them euthanasia or something, or recommend euthanasia. What's your response to that?
For us, it's not an issue. Money is not an issue. No, okay. It's the patient himself, him or herself, decides whether to end his life, yes or no, with the help of a doctor. And no discussion about money or whatever. It's a humane point of view when you say you have the right to end your life with the doctor when you meet the criteria of the law. And no discussion about money, please. No.
So is it legal to grant euthanasia for people who do not have terminal ill health?
Yes, the term is unbearable suffering, and it's not always connected to cancer, although in about 90% of the cases, maybe 95% of the, 85 I think, is persons with cancer, with terminal cancer. So life expectation of only a couple of weeks and in a lot of pain. So that's the main part of the 5,306 people who had euthanasia in 2014.
So those who do not have terminal sicknesses,
Sorry?
those who do not have terminal ill health, people who do not have terminal patients who do not have terminal ill health, can they also, like the invalid or those who are depressed?
No, when you, for instance, dementia or chronic psychiatric problems, they also their wishes can be granted under the euthanasia law.
But because already they have psychiatric problems, it means that something is not working very well here. So if they say they want to end up their life.
Yes, but there are a lot of psychiatric patients who still can decide about their life. Maybe they have a condition where when they have a chronic psychiatric problem. But in the film, which will be broadcasted tomorrow at 8:25 in the evening, there is a patient who has a chronic psychiatric problem for over 40 years, and he cuts himself every 6 weeks, and when he gets up, he has to put his closet in order every morning. It takes him every morning an hour, so his quality of his life is gone, and he says, I don't want to, I can't bear it anymore. I don't want to live this anymore. It's too much. Please help me to end my life. So that's an example which will be broadcast. I think which you can understand. If you are in a condition that long, you have no quality of life left anymore.
When is this broadcast coming?
Tomorrow.
To which channel? Which
and Channel 2, Dutch television.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's an emotional documentary because you follow 3 patients and you get drawn into the movie because I had tears in my eyes when I saw them suffering and then also saying goodbye to the family. It's emotional.
Yeah.
But in the same time, the whole process is so carefully performed and meets the wish of the patient who doesn't want to live in my. I feel happy the end-of-life clinic is there for them because their own doctors find it difficult to help them.
But you, as a doctor that have been performing this, how do you feel after you've done that?
A lot of doctors find it difficult to do. There's no doctor. Oh, another euthanasia today. I'm very happy. No. It costs them.
Yes.
And it's a lot of emotions because they also feel I'm taking a life of some persons. And it's difficult for a doctor, but still the Dutch Society of Doctors as well. We think it's a part of the job of our doctors to also help people end their lives when they suffer so much.
Mm.
So when you finish making that decision, maybe you finish helping somebody maybe for some minutes, you're not really yourself. You, Dr. Shrek.
Yeah, I don't perform euthanasia myself. I'm a director of the society.
Okay, you know.
They know the person very well, and they follow the process of the deliberation.
We're running up discussion here. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for your company, although we miss your calls. Mr. Dr. Robert Schuring, it's been a pleasure having you here today. I don't know if there's any final word you want to share with our listeners before we sign off.
No, I think thank you for the opportunity to express my point of view on this difficult subject. I understand, especially for religious people.
Yes.
I'm happy we had this discussion.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Exactly, and somehow you also clarified in our own hearts, some of the thoughts we were having. So we at least your explanation, the way you clarified some of the issues, okay, we will be able to say something about it when somebody will ask us what it is. Because when you are ignorant about it, then it's like, oh, these doctors are just killing, helping to kill.
No, I hope I made listeners of this clear that it's a difficult decision for everybody.
Yes.
And if you don't want to perform it, to ask yourself for euthanasia, please try to understand why people do it. Because they don't have quality of life anymore. They are in a lot of pain. So they have the merciful help of the doctor to end their lives. Maybe a couple of weeks too soon, like my father. But I hope people with a religious background can also understand why letting people suffer why it's good that it's possible in Holland to have this.
Well, at this point, I would like to say we really want to thank you very much. And my personal talking about regarding what people go through is acceptable. How God sees it, I really can't say that right now, with somebody ends his life or her life through euthanasia. But all we know basically is that to take one's life is not acceptable. But under these circumstances, only God knows. So I'll leave that to Him. But I want to thank you so very much once again for being on the show, sir. And I want to wish you a very good day. Okay, listeners, we want to leave you with this. We will be have a couple of more minutes. So enjoy this music by Sandra Clutch. My God, how excellent is your name.
Okay, thank you for the interview.
Thank you. We'll give you this in case you want to say something about your experience.